and see what happens.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, all right, we're gonna start. Do we have anybody in the rooms?
We do, except for Zoom.
Pardon?
To YouTube, it's downloading. It's
Okay.
Going live.
We're downloading YouTube right now, so.
All right. I'll be pretty good.
Oh, you switched off there.
I say I'll be pretty good at this by the time we quit using it.
I know. Next week, we're gonna be, in both courts, we'll be live.
I understand, and just when my genius has figured this out, I won't need it anymore.
Same with me. Doing it again.
Going faster this time. Where am I zooming? I don't know where I'm zooming. Somewhere in here.
We're good?
We're good.
Okay, we have anybody in a waiting room?
Ooh, we have, two. I don't know who they are. This guy was first.
Pardon me?
I said we have two and this guy was first, so we'll go with him.
Well, how many do we have arraignments?
We do, but I don't, their names aren't on here.
Oh, they're not.
Mm-mm. They didn't put their name on it.
Okay, I hate to go over those rights each time, but I guess we'll go ahead and go ahead and let somebody in. Let's see.
He's in.
Okay. Hi, what's your name, sir? I'm in court. Okay, bye.
I was muted.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can, yes.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
What's your name?
Matthew Miller.
What's that?
First page. Arraignment,
Okay.
number 3.
Oh, Matthew Miller. That's Miller. Okay. All right. You want to hand me that file? Okay, this is cause number XC 0429-732, City of Winlock versus Matthew W. Miller. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your correct current mailing address?
158 Wrangler Lane, Toledo, Washington, 98591.
Okay. So, Mr. Miller, before I begin the arraignment, we received a communication from Royal Care Center or Royal Center indicating that you were in their facility. Are you still in their facility?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So you're before the court charged with 2 crimes. The first of those is driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor. The other is driving while license suspended in the second degree. Driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor and/or drugs is a gross misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and/or a financial penalty in the amount of $10,250. In addition to that, there are some mandatory minimum penalties. It's alleged in your case that your breath test is over a 0.15, so the mandatory minimums would include a mandatory 2 days, 48 consecutive hours in jail. You could receive a jail sentence of up to 364 days. In addition, you would be required to attend a alcohol evaluation and follow any recommendations that evaluation might make. Your license would be revoked if you were convicted of this crime, and you would have ignition interlock for at least a 1-year period. Driving a license suspended or revoked in the second degree is a gross misdemeanor also. That is punishable by up to 1 year in jail and or financial penalty in the amount of $10,250. If you were convicted of that, your license could be revoked for an additional period of time. So both of these are fairly serious crimes, and you do have certain rights as a result of being charged with these crimes. The first of those rights is the right to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford an attorney, I would appoint one to represent you at no expense to you, subject to possible repayment at the conclusion of the case. In addition, you have a right to a speedy and public trial with an impartial jury, and you have a right to remain silent both before and during trial, and you need not testify against yourself. You have a right at trial to hear and question witnesses who testify against you, and you have a right at trial to testify on your own behalf and to have other witnesses testify for you. Those witnesses can be made to appear at no expense to you through the court subpoena power. You are presumed innocent unless and until you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, or you enter a valid plea of guilty. You also have a right to appeal any decision made by this court to the Lewis County Superior Court. If you enter a plea of guilty, there is no trial. You give up all these rights except the right to continue to have a lawyer, and you subject yourself to sentencing, potentially up to the maximum sentence allowed by law. If you plead guilty, you're admitting that the crime with which you are charged is true, and the court could sentence you at that time up to the maximum sentence. If you're not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty is grounds for deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization, all pursuant to the laws of the United States. If you are convicted by a plea of guilty or after a trial, the court may, as part of your sentence, require that you pay costs, fees, and assessments authorized by law, as well as restitution up to double the amount of the victim's loss or your gain. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you going to have an attorney represent you on this matter?
I do not have the money for an attorney right now.
Okay. When was the last time you've been employed?
Thursday of last week, but I'm not employed anymore.
Okay, because of this matter?
Yes.
All right. How long were you in that job?
Since last September 14th.
Okay. Are you getting any other sources of money at this time?
No.
Okay. All right. I will appoint Mr. Enbody to represent you, and I'm going to set this over, Mr. Enbody.
Well, is he in a hospital right now?
You're in a facility, and I understand from the document that I got that you're going to be out of that, and it looks like the 14th. Is that correct?
Possibly.
Pay for that.
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to continue this over to July 2nd for a pretrial hearing. And we will send you information by which you can contact Mr. Enbody. He will also seek to contact you prior to that date to discuss the matter. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, do you have some probable cause here? Because I'm going to enter and order conditions on release.
Okay. This has that at 5/29/2020 at 22:50 hours while working uniform patrol for Winlock Police Department. I was traveling east on SR 505, observed a silver Hyundai bearing Washington license BJV 2415, also traveling east in front of me. Vehicle was traveling at a high rate of speed, approximately 47 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone and driving erratically. I observed both drivers' side tires cross solid yellow line twice. First time at about the 2300 block and again at about the 2200 block SR 505. These locations are inside the city, Winlock city limits, within jurisdictional boundaries of Winlock Police. Activated emergency lights, initiating the traffic stop at about 2900 block of SR 505. contacted male driver identified by Washington State driver's license as Matthew W. Miller, date of birth 4/24/1991. Upon contact, observed overwhelming odor of intoxicating liquor emanating from inside the vehicle. Could see that the defendant's eyes were bloodshot and his speech was slurred and slow. His motor skills were slow as he fumbled, attempting to remove his driver's license from his wallet. He initially provided me with his driver's license, insurance, and registration. I asked him if he had been drinking, which he said, yes, I did earlier. And let's go to the next page. Asked dispatch to run the driving status, which revealed he was suspended second degree. Due to what I observed his driving and my interaction with him, I asked him to step out of the vehicle. He complied. Advised him that due to the odor of alcohol in his driving habits, I was concerned he might be unsafe to drive. Asked him if he'd be willing to submit to a set of standardized field sobriety tests. I advised they were voluntary, to which he said, yeah, why not? And I asked him for clarification in the form of a yes or no answer. He immediately said yes. I then performed a field sobriety tests on Matthew, which showed 6 out of 6 clues on HGN. Also performed horizontal nystagmus, which was present. Did the walk and turn, asked him if he understood the directions, to which he said yes. He displayed 6 clues before stopping mid-test after the request. He told me, I can't do this test, man. He could not keep his balance when he was given instructions. I asked him if he wanted to attempt the next test, which was the one-leg stand. Stated at that point he could not do it. He was having a hard time standing on his own. He was placed under arrest for DUI.
And was there a breath test taken?
Yes. Took to Lewis County Jail, asked if he'd submit to a voluntary PBT. He did. That was .269. He's then processed for the breath test. He had 2 independent breath samples. One was .247, the other one was .246.
Okay,
So that's it.
I will find that there is probable cause to believe that the crime of driving a license suspended. Excuse me, on Mr. Williams, is there probable cause on the suspended?
Yes, the officer indicated, and I earlier read in the report that he ran a driver's license status check while he was stopped, or at the time he stopped the vehicle, and it came back from the DOL as a suspended second degree.
All right, thank you. I will find probable cause for both crimes. The reason I do that at this point, Mr. Miller, is I'm going to enter conditions of release, and I'm not going to put you in jail or require you to post bail. However, you are ordered not to possess or consume alcohol or enter any bar or tavern that serves alcohol, that you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid license and insurance, that you have no violation of any criminal laws, that you maintain contact with your attorney such that you can appear in court, and that you next appear in court on July 2nd, 2020 at 3 p.m. That will be here, and at that time we'll be doing, hopefully, in-person hearing. So you will have to appear here in Winlock Municipal Court on July 2nd at 3 p.m. Okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, we'll see you then. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Who's next? Hi, you tell me who's on the phone here?
What's that?
I'm sorry?
What's that? I'm sorry, I was away from the phone for a second.
Okay, who is this?
Kristen Spar?
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Kristen Spar.
Okay, that should be put right there. Thank you. Okay, give me just a minute, Mr. Spar. This is Judge Mano. I'll be right with you.
All right. It says you called 55 minutes ago. It says you called 55 minutes ago. She hasn't called me, or called you. Oh.
Okay, well, first of all, Mr. Spar, let's take up this, let's see. That would be 268. All right, this is cause number XC0268316, City of Winlock versus Christian A. Spar. Is that your true and correct name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your current correct mailing address?
My mailing address is P.O. Box 1051, or 1061.
Okay, in Toledo?
Yep.
All right. Is that 98591?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Spar, you're before the court charged with driving while license suspended in the third degree. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and or financial penalty in the amount of $2,250. You have certain rights as a result of being charged with that crime. The first of those rights is the right to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford an attorney, I would appoint one to represent you at no expense to you, subject to possible repayment at the conclusion of the case. You have a right to a speedy and public trial with an impartial jury. You have a right to remain silent both before and during trial, and you need not testify against yourself. You have a right at trial to hear and question witnesses who testify against you, and you have a right at trial to testify on your own behalf and to have other witnesses testify for you. Those witnesses can be made to appear at no expense to you through the court's subpoena power. You are presumed innocent unless and until you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, or you enter a valid plea of guilty. You have a right to appeal any decision made by this court to the Lewis County Superior Court. If you do enter a plea of guilty, there is no trial, and you give up all these rights except the right to continue to have a lawyer, and you subject yourself to sentencing, potentially up to the maximum sentence allowed by law. If you do plead guilty, you're admitting that the crime with which you are charged is true, and the only thing left for the court to do is to impose sentence. If you're not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty is grounds for deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization, all pursuant to the laws of the United States. If you are convicted by a plea of guilty or after a trial, the court may, as part of your sentence, require that you pay costs, fees, and assessments authorized by law, as well as restitution up to double the amount of the victim's loss or your gain. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, are you going to have an attorney represent you on this matter?
I believe so.
Okay, are you going to hire your own lawyer?
Could there be one appointed for me, you said?
Well, unfortunately, you're not here present to fill out one of the forms, but tell me, are you currently employed?
No, I'm not.
When was the
I'm
last,
about to be.
when was the last time you were employed?
Last year,
Okay,
or actually the beginning of this year, I think.
are you, when is the last, how do you support yourself?
Like side work and like flipping cars.
Okay. All right. I will appoint Mr. Enbody to represent you. And I'm going to continue this over to July 2nd for the purpose of a pretrial hearing.
Who's
You-
this individual? This Mr. Spar?
Yes,
Okay.
and just give me a minute here. You have a no valid operator's license without identification also pending here. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, I wasn't able, I have my receipts and stuff from collections because I paid collections so I can go get my license reinstated, but it was at the beginning of the whole coronavirus deal, and when I went there to go get reinstated, they were closed, but I heard they just opened back up. So, I mean, I should have it reinstated by then.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to continue both these matters over to July 2nd, and
Okay,
that will be an in-person hearing here in Winlock. So you'll have to appear personally for that. And-
okay, perfect.
Okay, we'll send you notice.
All right, thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. That's on Mills. Is this a-
Nobody else is on at all.
No, nobody, but depending why. Nobody,
That's it?
that's
That's-
all. And I know, I emailed.
Mr. Anybody, you should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or arraignment's not showing yet.
Well, that's not as bad as the docket I attended in Ritzville about a year ago. There were 82 people on the docket and there were 4 people who showed up. 4.
Wow. I probably was one of those for speeding through that town on the way to a game or something.
Well, I know my grandson, when he played football over there, I think they named the courthouse after him because of all the speeding violations he got.
Okay, well, we did miss Constaneta, or no, we didn't, did we? No,
Just Miller and Spar.
yeah. Okay, so why don't you give me the following Constaneta there? So you've never had a chance to check on it.
Check right now if you want me
Okay.
to.
This is cause number XC 0384882, City of Winlock versus Castaneda. The last time I checked on her case, when it was set before, she was in jail in Cowlitz County for being arrested for DWI. And if this was the DWI, I probably would issue a warrant, but it's for driving a license suspended second degree. And she may still be in the Cowlitz County Jail. The clerk is checking right now. Anya is checking.
Yep, she's still there.
She is? She's
Mhm.
still there?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we confirmed that she's in the Lewis County Jail and, excuse me, the Cowlitz County Jail. And so we'll set this over to July 2nd.
Okay.
Mr., is that Keegan? Is that a man? His name? Like the golfer, I guess.
Bradley.
Yeah. Keegan,
There's some tournaments.
actually, we were walking, John and I were at the Open, when they were, and he hit a ball came right down in front of me into bushes right next to us and went on a path. And we watched him come over and get out of there. Just a great shot, of course.
That was a good one. That's where Aston Johnson 3-putted at 18. Remember that? was-
Yes. Okay, this is cause number XZ 0429727, City of Winlock versus Keegan Tyler Gendro. This is a charge of driving a license suspended in the third degree. Mr. Gendro has not appeared. We'll set that over for arraignment on July 2nd. And we took care of Mr. Miller, Curtis Pappen. I'll loosen my tie since nobody is watching anymore except the public. This is cause number XC 0429723, City of Winlock versus Curtis Pappen. This is a charge of driving while license suspended third degree. Pappen has not appeared. We'll set that over to July 2nd for arraignment. Mr. Spar appeared. And Evan Tatchell. Thank you. This is cause number XC 0405178, City of Winlock versus Evan Rudy Tatchell. And this is a charge of theft in the third degree. And he has a bit of a criminal history, but nothing that gives me the thought that he would be a danger to public safety in the whole. So I'm going to set this over for a arraignment on July 2nd. We had Michelle Barnes.
Yep.
Is that yours?
Yep.
Doesn't have your name on it, but. Okay, this is cause number XC 0440856, City of Winlock versus Michelle Lynn Barnes, charge of DWI. And I see she has,
I've talked to her.
okay, 2 priors, but go ahead.
So I've
Convince
asked
me.
for a set over to July 2nd, but Mr. Williams, the discovery I have has the Winlock narrative, et cetera, but I don't have the part where it was turned over to the trooper.
I'll take a look at that.
Okay,
Do you have any objection to this being set over to July 2nd? I'm sorry, you said no?
No, I do not have any.
All right, we'll do that. Okay, Haley Harper is cause number XC 0384889. It's a charge of driving while license suspended third degree. Mr. Enbody.
I talked to Ms. Harper and Mr. Williams. We just printed off her driving record and she's licensed and it was issued May 27.
Okay,
We're wondering if you would, when we get her on the phone, if it's the city would consider amending, given her record and relicensing, amending the charge to no vol with ID.
I'm glad to do that. That's a policy we have here. And I'm gonna accept it, that you can verify that she is relicensed. She relicensed very quickly from the sounds of things. And I don't think her record is that terrible.
Okay, and then she's asking that we call her to get on, and I have a phone number for her. 360-522-1052.
Are you going to talk to her?
Yeah, I can start.
Huh?
She answers.
Hello?
Hi, is this Haley?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Joe Enbody, your attorney. You're in court on speakerphone.
All right.
And Mr. Williams, the prosecutor's there too, and we had a chance before we called you. I talked to him, explained to him that you are relicensed, and it is the city's intent to get rid of the criminal charge, amend it down to no valid operator's license with ID and infraction. And we had talked about that proposal earlier today. And so that's good news, and he's willing to do that. So we'd like to proceed in that fashion today, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so your motion, this is Judge Mano, Ms. Harper, and Mr. Williams, the prosecutor, is here. Mr. Williams, is your motion to amend to that charge then?
Yes, please amend the original charge of driving while license suspended to third, in the third degree, to that of no valid operator's license on person with ID.
Okay, and with what kind of bail?
I think what's the standard, isn't there a bail schedule for that, or I mean
I think
a fine
it's,
schedule for that?
I want to say 139, but yeah, she's looking at it. It's not there, huh?
Those are all the main ones.
Oh, these are all crimes, yeah.
Well, how about we stipulate to the 180 costs that are going to be paid for legal representation of Mr. Inbody?
And then what fine on top of that, 159?
Yeah,
That sounds reasonable for the defense. If you
Okay.
give Miss Harper some time to pay that, I think.
that'd be a
All right.
total.
So I will do that, $180 in costs and $159 in a penalty. So with respect to that amount, how much time would you need to pay that, Ms. Harper?
Maybe just like a couple weeks.
Okay, let's say that it should be paid by July the 5th, okay?
Okay,
All right,
I could do that.
Thank you,
okay,
Miss Harper.
all right, thank you. You can ring off.
Okay, thank you.
You bet, bye.
Bye.
Okay, then we have Peter Loya.
Do you want me to do up an infraction form for you to sign?
What's that?
Do you want me to do up an infraction form for you to sign after they're done?
Yeah, what he said
Or
is,
you just
I
want-
think we've just done it, as
Just
long
do
as
it.
DCH shows, the charge, then the amended to,
Right.
then the C committed, and then.
what does she send in to DOL then?
The no wall with. I don't think you have to, it's all electronic anyway.
Yeah, because it was a sector ticket. So
Is that okay with your records if he does that?
yeah, it should be. I think I've done it that way before. It's not often, but it should be fine. If
Okay.
not, then I'll.
All right, let's do that. Okay, Mr. Loya. This is cause number XZ 0405-176, City versus Loya. This is a charge of disorderly conduct. Mr. Inbody.
I talked to Mr. Roya's wife, and he just started a new job, and he's in 12-hour-a-day training. Number two, Mr. Williams, if you see on where it says page 2 of 3 on the officer's narrative, near the bottom third, it talks about obtaining written statements from 4 witnesses, but the discovery I received only had Jesse Martin's. So I'm asking for a set over to July 2. If maybe you could double check for those 3 other written statements mentioned in the narrative, and then go from there.
We can do that.
All right, we'll set it over to July 2nd then for a pretrial. And then the Mr. Shope cases.
Now, on Mr. Shope, I think there was a missed court date.
Well, first of all, there's a arraignment, cause number XZ 0268-327. On here.
You missed the arraignment last time, and you lumped all the cases together.
That's a charge of no contact, no protection order. And that's a gross misdemeanor. And Mr. Shope is pending a charge of assault, 2 counts of assault in the 4th degree. And another assault in the 4th degree. And no violation of no contact order. Mr. Enbody?
I don't know why Mr. Schultz not here for the arraignment, but I think on my 3 pretrial matters, I think this would be his first failure to appear, so I'd request a 2-week set over.
Mr. Williams?
Well, that's fine with me, but Mr. Schultz seems to be running up quite a track record here, so I'm hoping that we will see him, at the next court hearing. And maybe-
Excellent. Okay, well, my thought is to set it over just 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I asked for.
And if he doesn't show up on the, what is that, the 18th? 18th?
Oh, yeah.
18th, then I'm going to issue a warrant for his arrest. It was a 4-4. And the last case is Dustin Volk. Is that arraignment?
Nope.
No.
Trial with me.
All right, this is cause number 4065, City of Winlock, City of Winlock versus Dustin Volk. And this is an assault in the 4th degree, and it's set for pretrial, Mr. Enbody.
I talked to Mr. Volk, told him I'd asked for a 2-week set over. I'm still trying to track down the alleged victim, and I have a phone number now.
Fine.
Okay, so we'll set it over to July 2nd. Any objection?
No,
Okay. All right. I think we've done it.
Alrighty.
Okay. Thank you, Anya. Good job.
You.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And we will see you in the flesh in 2 weeks.
well, yeah. I hope that I'm as beautiful as I think I am.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
See ya.
all right.